May he who has the gold makes the rules.
A guy by the name of Michael Klinghoffer, who was a TV producer in New York for decades, found out that the only thing copywritten about It's a Wonderful Life was the soundtrack, and took it to Comedy Central and said, hey, why don't you guys do something with this? And my friend Kent Alterman at the time was head of development in New York for Comedy Central. And he had like sort of an open call of writers that he knew, like, come in, pitch your idea for what to do with It's a Wonderful Life. My idea was very meta because I grew up seeing the movie rerun over and over and over and over and over again. And so my idea was that who would be more sick of this movie than George Bailey?
Hiya, George. Ernie, I'm sick of doing this darn movie. Would you mind driving me to another one?
George, you're supposed to ask for a ride home.
George Bailey, what's all this ad-libbing?
Ad-libbing? I am not.
So I took that to Kent, and he said, yeah, this is great. This is the way to go. Are you interested in working with these guys, the Upright Citizens Brigade, which at the time hadn't done anything on TV. They were, I think, about to start work on their first pilot. They're really talented, and you guys could all do the voices. And I did the voice of George Bailey just as a scratch track until we found, the star that would do it. They couldn't get anyone with a name to do it.
Come on, Mary, play along. You of all people should be interested in turning this movie into something else for once.
Just do the script.
It'll be great. We'll make real money. We'll be in color.
When the UCB came in, it became just kind of like this camp, basically, where we were spending all our time together watching the footage, trying to sync up the lips with what we wanted the story to be.
Well, I can't marry you because, well,
George.
I'm gay, Mary. That's the truth. I'm madly in love with Sam Wainwright. Sam and I are lovers. You can ask anyone.
Let's call and ask him.
Fine, let's call him right now. I've got his number. Let's get him on the phone.
All right.
Sam Wainwright, please. Hey, Sam, just calling to make sure you know we're both gay. Now tell Mary. Here's Mary.
Me, gay? I can't speak for George, but there's no way I'm gay. I have 4 different girlfriends at any given time, believe me. I've had sex with women at nice hotels, cheap motels, tents, bathrooms. You name it, I've had sex with a woman there.
It's really interesting, like, doing this project, doing the Escape from Wonderful Life, and taking apart and putting it back together in a very irreverent way. And I think, if you were really a hardcore fan of the film, you would take issue with it, probably. But I have to say, from my standpoint, having that experience made me love that movie more than ever. I mean, it's such a weird movie, first of all. Like, structurally, I've written a bunch of screenplays and read a lot of books on screenwriting and gone to, studied screenwriting. There's no teacher that would ever teach that form of a screenplay. It is bonkers. And the intensity of the darkness of it, too, is very unusual for that time. The freedom that the filmmakers felt to go into this sort of deep, dark underbelly of like human experience was revelatory. And then sort of breaking down the movie, like when we were going scene to scene and watching these performances over and over again, you're like, wow, everyone was all in on this movie. Like nobody was phoning it in. I mean, if in the strictest sense of the word, it is a comedy, right? But it has a lot of darkness in it, and a lot of sadness, and a lot of regret. And I think, like, I don't know. I don't know if what I've done is representative of that in any way, but I definitely feel like a lot of my work has that, especially in the last few years, has that sort of heart of darkness to it. Even though I've never written anything that wasn't a comedy, there's always a happy ending, because I can't deal with that thing where everything's just shit and then something ends. It makes me want to kill myself. So I always write with hope, but this is a very hopeful movie, but it's not afraid to travel into these sort of dark recesses. Really weird too. And then you've already seen him be kind of the Jimmy Stewart character you expect. And then a lot of the movie seems like it's just undermining that, and making him, like you said, almost like a thug and like this weird guy, like everyone's like, what is with this guy? He's, getting drunk and punching people and harassing women. And yeah, that's a really good point. Well, I think like, Capra did a really great job, obviously. And I think that was his thing. Obviously, there's more than one movie in this movie, right? So when he goes back in time with Clarence, it is a noir film because Pottersville is very much a noir town. It's the dark, someone described film noir as the dark side of the American dream. And that's Pottersville, right? Like it's what happens when unbridled profit seeking runs everything.